As of 12:01 a.m., the Faculty Association at SIUC is on strike.
Tonight, we have the latest on the labor uproar on the SIUC campus. Professors on the picket lines and students in empty classrooms. Evening Edition starts now.
Live from the campus of Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Bringing you the news from around the world and across the river region. This is the Evening Edition.
Southern Illinois University is experiencing its first teacher strike in the history of the university. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm April Stanley.
And I'm Matt Howard. A key faculty union took to the picket lines this morning after being unable to reach an agreement with the administration. Michonne Lindstrom is live with the latest. Michonne.
Many tenure and tenure-track faculty did not come to work today. Instead, they took to the streets to show a clear message.
As you can see, we're getting a lot of support, right? There's a lot of horn honking going on from people.
At nearly every university entrance, picketers braved the weather.
I'm feeling kind of cold. It's been raining.
The Faculty Association was the only union on campus that was unable to reach even a tentative agreement. The union spokesperson says they were singled out.
Yesterday, they were willing to bargain flexibly, it appears, with 3 different unions, but not with us.
The FA says they are willing to make compromises if they are met halfway.
We're willing to help out. We're willing to have furloughs. We're willing even to have layoffs of tenured faculty. But we're only willing to do so if there's a proper procedure in place, proper criteria in place, and if there's accountability.
While the FA members say they stand strong for what they believe in, many are still upset with the situation.
Also deeply disappointed that it's come to this. We're deeply disappointed not to be in the classrooms for our students.
The other 3 unions have reached a tentative agreement, but they are still here to show their support for the FA, like members of the Graduate Student Union.
I hope that the administration can begin to actually show a little bit of respect for our faculty.
It's very clear that they've been isolated in this whole process and that the administration is really trying to attack them as an organization.
And that support by the community and students is not overlooked by the strikers.
I just would like to say how moved I am by the support that we've gotten from other staff and from my colleagues, and to say that this is just a really great university.
As of this afternoon, the Faculty Association and the administration have not begun negotiations again. We'll have continuing coverage as the story develops. Until then, Matt, back to you.
Thanks, Michonne. Professors in a different SIUC union were in class today. Early morning agreements were reached with that union and 2 others. But as Evening Edition's Garrett Ford shows us, many of them still chose to stand side by side with the strikers.
3 SIUC unions have reached a tentative agreement with the university administration after bargaining for more than a year. The Non-Tenure Track Faculty Association, Graduate Assistants United, and the Association of Civil Service Employees all came to agreements in the early hours of the morning. Non-Tenure Faculty Association spokesperson Kenny Barton says there were several sticking points resolved.
Semester-only appointments, layoffs without seniority or issues like that being considered. And so all of those things, quite frankly, had to be redefined and regathered.
Martin says the deal isn't finalized yet.
The next step, of course, is notifying membership, and that we're in the process of doing that.
SIU Chancellor Rita Chang says both sides were ready to end the struggle.
We came to a meeting of the minds that we were going to get this resolved, and we worked through issues. There were financial issues, there were issues related to notice of appointment, there were issues related to health care, and we got those things resolved.
Chang says rumors that some of these workers won't cross the strikers' picket lines and not come to work are not true.
They can't. Our graduate students, our lecturers, and our clerical staff that signed the agreement last night cannot strike.
But some of the employees that now have an agreement say they'll support their colleagues and join the picket line on their own time. In Carbondale, Garrett Ford, Evening Edition.
The agreements reached by the three unions are tentative. They will be sent out to the members of each union for approval.
Some students on campus decided to directly support striking faculty. Students in at least one classroom left and joined the labor action. And in some areas, the sound of pickets could be heard in empty classrooms where professors were missing. But Chancellor Rita Chang says that classes will still go on.
Each department has a plan in place that makes sense for their discipline, and we want to make sure we have expertise in the classroom.
Chang says the deans at each college have plans in place to take care of students who don't show up to their classes. But several students we spoke with say they showed up and there was no instructor present. Matt, daylight savings time is just around the corner. That means an extra hour of sleep. And for others, it's the unofficial start of winter.
And I'm ready for that extra hour of sleep, April. But, I saw a lot of students on campus with jackets and even some of the protesters with heavy coats today. And Evening Edition's Summer Luthi is here now. And Summer, will we be seeing winter anytime soon?
Well, I don't think there's going to be much winter here soon. The nights are going to be a little bit chilly. You're going to want your coat then. But by tomorrow morning, we're going to see a high of around 51, and that's going to stay with us through the day tomorrow with some rain and another high of 51. Back to you.
Up next, a special event this weekend in Carbondale for a good cause. We'll explain.
And it's getting colder outside. We find out how long Occupy Carbondale protesters plan on sticking around. You're watching Evening Edition. And one protester says it's starting to take a toll on their efforts. I spoke with a protester today who says the cold weather is wearing down some of the other protesters. Protester Lynn Williams says Occupy Carbondale is trying to relocate to the Big Muddy Independent Media Center, but there is no time frame set for when that would happen. Right now, some members are sleeping in a tent next to the Gaia House, and Williams says that is just too much for several protesters. But Williams also says that he doesn't expect their protest to be easy.
The cold weather is kind of inspirational in a certain way. The difficulty with hardship is that we won't rise to the occasion. If we have it too soft, we may lose focus.
Occupy Carbondale says they're for the SIUC union strike. They are showing their support by marching to Anthony Hall this evening.
A Southern Illinois teenager who was facing life behind bars for murder is appealing his conviction. 16-year-old Clifford Baker was convicted of killing two of his neighbors in a small town of Lugudi, 80 miles east of St. Louis, in August 2010. Baker was sentenced in September to the life terms, plus an additional 30 years for home invasion. A judge signed off on a public defender to assist Baker with his appeal.
A New York man living in Ireland says he owns half of Facebook, and he's suing. Now he's being ordered back to the United States. A federal judge ordered Paul Seglia to search for a missing flash drive that contains essential evidence for Facebook attorneys. Seglia says he has emails from Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg with a 2003 contract that entitles him to 50% of the social network worth $50 billion. Zuckerberg's lawyers believe the missing drive will help get the man's case dismissed.
A medical facility in Carbondale is hosting a food drive this weekend. Allied Physicians in Rehab is setting up at Schnucks this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're accepting non-perishable food items and cash donations. Donations will be given to the Good Samaritan Food Pantry in Carbondale. People donating can register for free chiropractic health screening and a chance to win a food basket from Schnucks.
Up next, some runners are embracing an interesting trend. Running barefoot, but is that really good for the feet?
And Summer Luthi will join us with your forecast. But first, it was a good day on Wall Street. Here are today's closing numbers. This is Evening Edition. Forget sneakers. Some runners would rather be barefoot, but that's not always good for the feet. Now a group of researchers think they've come up with a compromise. Susan Hendricks explains in today's Health Minute.
Haewon Chu is an avid runner. He's worn all kinds of shoes, although he prefers to run barefoot. but that can be tough on the toes. So when the new barefoot running shoes came out, he thought he'd give them a try.
It feels like you're running on air, just like everybody says, and it's also, you got to be really careful not to overdo it.
How can a shoe with space for 5 toes and very little sole protect a foot and help runners perform more efficiently? That's what the folks at this podiatry laboratory at Temple University were asking. So they tested the shoe to see if it gave enough support and protection.
I think it creates more flexibility, better balance, more agility, better toe strength. I think it's all around a good thing for feet.
But whether you're an experienced runner or a novice, you have to slowly transition into barefoot shoes, says Dr. Whitney.
People get into trouble when they run too far, too fast, on the wrong surface.
And softer surfaces are better than asphalt or concrete, but these minimalist shoes aren't for everyone. Those with any type of foot or ankle pain or injury should talk to their doctor first. But for runners like Chu, they seem to be a pleasant alternative to going shoeless. For today's Health Minute, I'm Susan Hendricks.
And now the forecast for the river region. This is your evening edition weather.
Well, it was a very gloomy day outside today. Although we didn't see any rain, except for maybe some this morning, it was also very chilly, which is leading to the time of year where the time's going to change. So this Saturday, remember to set your clock back just an hour. Right now, we have a temperature of 46 degrees with a dew point at 40. The relative humidity is at 83% with winds coming from the southwest at 13 miles an hour. And today our high was 54 degrees and the low was 42. We did see just a little bit of rain, only 0.13 of an inch. Right now on our regional temperatures, we can see Carbondale and Marion are both at 46. Paducah is right below us at 45 degrees. Cape Girardeau is just a little cooler at 44, and Belleville and Mount Vernon up south are just up north, are just a little warmer at 47 and 49. As we take a look at our national satellite, we can see this huge cloud coverage here. That's why we didn't see any sun today. It is just covering up all of southern Illinois, making its way up to the north. Looking at our national radar, we can see all of this rain stuff here, and it's moving on up, and that's what we were seeing for the past few days, but I think tomorrow we're not going to see hardly any of it. Right now, and we can see that tonight we have a low of 44 degrees with a little bit more of that rain, but not too much. Tomorrow we're going to see a high of 63 with partly cloudy skies. And those clouds should be moving out sometime tomorrow afternoon. And then by tomorrow night we're going to have a high of 36 degrees with clear skies. On our 5-day forecast, Saturday we're going to see a high of 67 with sunny skies. Sunday, we're going to see a high of 65 with some more sunny skies. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to see a chance of some rain showers with highs in the 60s and lows. Looks like Monday in the 50s, but Tuesdays and Thursday, it's going to be cooler, 49 and 37.
A lot of rain on that forecast, Summer. Now, the chances are they high, or is it maybe scattered?
It's just scattered. Not a huge chance. It's not going to rain all day, but...
And looking past Wednesday, any more chances for rain into Thursday or Friday?
Not. I think we're maybe going to see some sun, but you can't really tell yet.
Okay, thanks, Summer.
Yeah.
Saluki men's football team travels to South Dakota this weekend to end a 5-game losing streak.
And the SIU volleyball team looks to end their 6-game losing streak this week as they host a pair of Missouri Valley Conference foes. Curtis Sheehan is in now with sports. Curtis.
As the volleyball team hits the midway point in their season, they look for a big win to turn it around. And the men's basketball team has their last preseason game on Saturday to make final adjustments before the regular season begins. All that and more is next in sports.
And now the latest scores and highlights from across the river region. This is Evening Edition Sports.
The SIU men's basketball team hopes to stay undefeated in preseason play this weekend. Southern will host Missouri Science and Technology this Saturday at the SIU Arena. The Salukis are coming off an impressive win against the University of Illinois Springfield Prairie Stars this past Saturday. This will be the last exhibition game for the men's team before their regular season gets started next Saturday. Senior point guard Justin Bocott says the exhibition games give the team a chance to build chemistry.
Just practice. I mean, the more we play with each other, the more we're going to know each other. So, I mean, that's really all it is. I think everybody together plays well, you know. We haven't really found, you know, like which groups play together that well, but, I mean, we'll get there in time. But everybody seems to be playing well at this time, so.
We will see just how much the team chemistry grows when the Salukis tip off against the Miners Saturday at 7:05 p.m. As the Saluki football season draws near a close, the 2-6 Dogs are now playing for pride. The Salukis' first challenge is to break their current 5-game losing streak. If any game gives them a chance, it's this week's matchup against the 3-6 South Dakota State Jackrabbits. South Dakota State is coming off a 43-36 win over Missouri State last Saturday, which was their first win in 2 weeks. The game begins at 2 p.m. local time at SIU Stadium. The Saluki softball team announced their schedule for the upcoming 2012 season today. The schedule features 5 tournaments to start the season, including trips to Orlando, Florida, and Honolulu, Hawaii. SIU will have to face 5 teams who made the NCAA tournament last season. Southern will host the 26th Coach B Classic March 3rd through March 4th. The regular season begins February 11th when the Salukis will play in the Kennesaw State Classic in Woodstock, Georgia. And the SIU women's volleyball team returns to Davies Gym this weekend as they take on Illinois State and Indiana State. The Salukis defeated Indiana State 3-1 back on October 17th in Terre Haute. Their battle against the Sycamores is slated for Friday at 7 p.m. The Salukis will then turn their attention to Illinois State Saturday at 7 after losing to the Redbirds 3-1 in Normal on October 8th. SIU goes into the weekend tied for 7th in the Missouri Valley Conference with only 6 games left to climb into the 6th and final playoff spot. The Chicago Blackhawks are seeking their 3rd straight win tonight as they travel to Florida to battle the Panthers. The Blackhawks come into the weekend with a record of 7-2, leading the Central Division. After tonight's matchup against Florida, the Hawks will head to Tampa Bay to play the Lightning, and then will travel back home on Sunday to play their rivals, the Vancouver Canucks. The puck drops for tonight's contest against the Panthers at 6:30 p.m. The St. Louis Rams travels west this Sunday, looking to win back-to-back games for the first time this season. The Rams stunned the New Orleans Saints last Sunday to earn their first win of the season. This Sunday's game should not be as tough as they head to Glendale, Arizona to face the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams and Cardinals are both tied for last in the NFC West with a record of 1-6. And both teams come in with quarterback injuries. Arizona starting quarterback Kevin Cobb is mostly out for this week when he missed practice yesterday and today with turf toe. John Skeleton will get the start for Arizona. The Rams face a quarterback problem of their own. Backup A.J. Philly has started the last 2 games at quarterback for the Rams. However, Sam Bradford is hopeful to play Sunday as he practiced for the first time in 2 weeks and was out a walking boot. Kickoff is at 3:15 p.m. local time. The Chicago Bears are playing their first game in the States after 2 weeks this Sunday. The Bears played their last game in London, England 2 weeks ago. And now fresh off their bye week, they get set to face the high-flying Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. The Bears are currently on a 2-game winning streak and are climbing up the NFC North standings. The Eagles find themselves on a 2-game winning streak as well and try to jump into the lone position for second place in the NFC East. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. local time.
Curtis, do you think the Rams are going to do 2 in a row?
It's not going to be as tough as playing the Saints, who are just high-flying. But when you look at the NFC West, it's such a down year, and Cobb's not going to play. All they have is Fitzgerald. I think the Rams can definitely go to Arizona and win a game.
And what about the Bears?
The Bears, it's a different story. They haven't played in 2 weeks. I mean, they had some nagging injuries, but those will probably be fresh after the bye. But Philadelphia, 2-game win streak. Michael Vick's playing extremely well. Their talents are playing really well. Macklin, Jackson, McCoy's playing really well. So it's going to be difficult for the Bears to go play on a Monday night in Philadelphia and get the W.
Curtis, we have to know, what is turf toe?
Turf toe is essentially when you play on an AstroTurf, like I think the Cardinals do, when your toe gets planted into the ground and it goes backwards. That's basically what turf toe is.
Ooh, I'm glad they put carpets in these sets.
Yeah.
Thanks, Curtis.
Thanks. Not a problem.
And when we come back, we'll show you a card that ended up in the strangest of places.
And we'll preview some of the stories we're working on for next week. Stay with us.
This week on the Evening Edition, we'll bring you the latest on the union contract negotiations and the ongoing strike on campus. Also, we take a look at how Carbondale businesses are being affected by the strike. And in honor of Veterans Day, find out what barbershop in Southern Illinois is helping deployed soldiers make phone calls home to their families. That's next week at 5, right here on the WSIU television stations.
Finally tonight, a car in San Diego ended up in a strange predicament. Take a look at this. This car slammed into a fire hydrant, sending water everywhere. The force of the spray from the hydrant lifted the vehicle nearly 10 feet in the air. Residents in the area say they saw people running from the car after the accident. Police believe it may be stolen, and an investigation is ongoing.
Wow. No water sprays like that coming up, but a little bit of rain possibly.
Possibly. It looks like that Saturday we're going to see a high of 67 with sunny skies, and the sun's going to continue into Sunday where we'll see a high of 65. It's going to get a little bit cooler on Monday with just a high of 62 and a chance of those rain showers. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, the rain showers are going to stick around with a high of 65, and Wednesday a high of 60.
And those 70s temps we saw yesterday and Monday, maybe back around for the weekend, but are we done with them for the most part?
I think the 60s is going to be as warm as it gets.
I'll take that. Thanks, Summer.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Evening Edition is online at siutvnews.com, and you can follow us on Twitter at River Region News. I'm April Stanley.
And I'm Matt Howard. For Summer Luthi, Curtis Sheehan, and everyone here at the Evening Edition, have a great night and a great weekend.